I mean, everybody gets in, and then he calls for rocks, and the rocks are put in, and then the door's closed.
When Mr. Ray called for rocks for the first round, are you the person who was being spoken to?
Yeah, he kind of yells it so Ted can hear it, but yeah, usually I'll repeat it to Ted and go over and say 10 or 12 or whatever it was he wanted.
Do you recall how many grandfathers or how many rocks Mr. Ray called for to start the sweat lodge ceremony?
I believe it was 10 or 12.
Okay. Do you see the area on this photograph of where rocks were dusted off?
Yes, I do.
Can you show us?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can zoom in on that.
It's just like a rock that we could put the hot lava rock on, and then you should be able to see. See, there's the pitchfork he used. I don't see the broom, though. It's just a little, hand whisk broom. And you would just brush off the ashes, the hot ashes.
Okay. And while that's going on, where were you?
I would be moving between getting the rocks from the dusting off area. I'd be back and forth in this area. Like that. Normally he would, I believe, call in the angels or the directions of the four winds. He'd begin by talking.
When that round ended, what do you recall happening? The second round.
I would say 12 people came out of the sweat lodge. James asked if anyone else wanted to come back in.
And when she first came out, did you observe anything about her?
She was upset. She was crying, and she was upset and saying that she was disappointing James Ray and thought she should be back in there.
And did you pay attention to her?
I was just aware of her, but then I became more aware and concerned because I saw two Dream Team people pushing her with their hands on her back. I mean, they weren't pushing her, but they were trying to convince her to go back into the sweat lodge. She was at the door. Actually, she was before the door, and they were saying, "It's okay, you can do it." And she got to the door, and she said, "No, I can't." And that's when they put her hands on her and said, you can, and, got her to go down. But then she still was saying, no, and that's, at that point, I said, she doesn't want to go in. I said that to the Dream Team, and then they let her go back to the side. But she was still very upset that she was disappointing James Ray.
At some point, did you become aware of a man screaming?
Yes.
What do you remember him saying?
He was screaming he was going to die, and he didn't want to die, and he was having a heart attack, and things were getting dark, and that kind of thing, but really screaming and really loud.
Did you hear Mr. Ray say anything to that man?
Yes, I did.
What do you recall Mr. Ray saying?
I recall him asking, "Who is that? What's that noise out there?" And one of the Dream Team came over and said it was so-and-so and told James it's so-and-so, and James got real loud and directed him like the same things. You're more than that. It's a good day to die. You'll be okay. I remember saying it's a good day to live.
Did you say that out loud?
Yes, I did.
Who did you direct that to?
James Ray.
Did he respond to you?
No.
And did Mr. Ray ever come out of the sweat lodge to check up on the men before he said that?
No.
Did you become aware of a man who had fallen into the pit?
Yes. I saw skin coming off of what appeared to be skin coming off of his arm, all right here and on his hand. And then one of the dream team put a towel around it, and that I knew that's not a good thing to do to a burn. And at the same time, Fawn said, "Get that off of it." And she ran and got a bucket of ice water, and he put his whole arm into the bucket of ice water that Fawn brought.
Okay. Did Mr. Ray ever come out to check up on the man with the burned arm?
No. And they said, "Yeah, I can't get her to respond." And James said, I don't know if these are the exact words, but to the effect of, she's been down this road before, she'll be okay.
Did you respond in any way?
No.
And did that concern you
Yes.
at the time?
Yes.
And did you do anything?
No.
And why not?
James Ray is in charge of the lodge and his people in the lodge.
Did you ever hear any conversations from within the sweat lodge about a person needing to use the bathroom?
Yes.
About when did you hear that?
Second or third round.
And tell the jury what you remember about that.
I remember a fellow saying, "James, I should have asked you this ahead of time, but what do we do if we have to go to the bathroom?"
And did Mr. Ray respond?
Yes, he did.
What do you recall him saying?
"Let it go where you're at."
Did you hear anything more?
No. No. I mean, can I elaborate? I was surprised because usually we take them somewhere to go to the bathroom.
For other sweat lodge ceremonies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even like a 2007, I walked somebody to the to go to the bathroom, but this time I heard him tell them to pee in the lodge.
You testified about hearing Mr. Ray encourage people with phrases such as, "You're more than that." How often did you hear Mr. Ray say that for this 2009 ceremony?
Very often, more than in the previous sweat lodges.
Did you hear any more conversations coming from the sweat lodge during the ceremony?
Yes.
And tell the jury what else you heard.
I heard him say, "So-and-so's not breathing," or "they're not responding. I can't get them to respond." After the lodge, I put my head inside and I could see 3 people in there.
Ms. Mercer, how much time would you say had passed from the end of that ceremony to the time that you looked inside and saw 3 people?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. And during that 15 minutes, what was going on?
We're getting other people out. The lodge was emptying.
Did you observe Mr. Ray during those 15 minutes?
He went and sat in the chair and stayed there.
When you looked in, then tell the jury what you saw.
I saw 3 people in the back of the sweat lodge laying there. Everyone I saw was helping someone else. And I looked over and I saw James Ray, and I said, "There's 3 people in there. I need to get them out. Can I I said, "I can't get in there. I'm going to open the back."
When you told Mr. Ray you were going to open up the back, did he respond to you?
Yes, he did.
And what did he say?
He said, "No, unless it's absolutely necessary." And I said, "I can't get in there." And so I went around to the back. So I had to move the rocks out of the way and attempt to pull the tarp and the blankets up, and I couldn't do it myself, so I called for help.
And what did you say when you called for help?
I was screaming, "Help."
And did somebody come to help you?
My daughter was with me.
And that's Sarah? And then what did you and Sarah do?
We lifted up the back of the tarps.
And what did you see?
We saw 2 people laying there.
And what did you do?
Their lips were blue, their faces were white, and my daughter said, Mama, they're holding hands. And I said, I know, we have to get him out of there. And then I called for help again, and somebody came over to the side and held up the tarps. And Sarah and I pulled them out.
Okay, what's the problem? 2 people aren't breathing. There's no pulse.
Breathing?
Yes.
Okay, is this a result of a shooting or something?
No, it was a sweat lodge.
A sweat lodge?
Yes.
Okay, all right.